Hello, hello. Bright lights. Is that an auto cue? This is fantastic. Hello, everyone. My name's Ian. I'm a fat, white, aspirant, middle class, cis, straight, able-bodied bloke. And like some of you in the audience, I sit, therefore, in the crosshairs of every piece of privilege that you can imagine. And I try and use that for good purposes, as quite a lot of people I've spoken to today do already. So, I was talking to Natalia a minute ago, and we were discussing how easy change is in this sector. So when you came in today, you weren't particularly worried about where you sat. You might have wanted to sit next to your friend, or you might have wanted to sit away from some people, but you weren't really fixed to where you sit. But now, if I was to make you change places, you would hate me. And that's why change is so difficult in this sector, because just getting people to move around is a thing. And that's what I'm going to ask you to do. So, we're going to run an exercise for about 15 minutes, something like that. Might be a bit longer, might be a bit shorter. Most of the people in this room will be easily able to do this, and probably everyone really. It's called Feed Forward. It's an exercise created by one of the most famous coaches in the world, a guy called Marshall Goldsmith, who wrote a very famous book called What Got You Here Won't Get You There. And it's about what gets you to a senior position, but not quite on the board. None of that stuff gets you on the board. There's a whole lot of new behaviors that we have to develop. And that's the kind of stuff that we talk about when we're talking about leadership development. So here's the exercise. I want you to think of an area in which you need to improve. Could be anything, but an area in which you need to improve. If you're struggling with that, put your hand up if you don't need to improve on anything, and people around your table will give you some instant feedback. Oh, here we go. Thank you very much. So, once you've done that, I want you to find someone to talk to. Okay? But we're going to do like 10 or 12 people around the room, so there's going to be lots of movement. I want you to say hello and give your name or whatever and decide who's going first. Dave and I are going to replicate this in a second so we're all clear. And say what your area is. Hello, my name is Ian and I want to be better at whatever. Then take a piece of advice. The other person will give you a piece of advice. And your job is not to argue. It's not to disagree. It's just to say, thank you. And then swap over. And you say, well, what's your thing? Oh, I want to be better at this. Great. Okay. Very good. Well, I think you should give this a go. Thank you very much. That's the end of the transaction of you two people, the first person you met, and you disappear to another part of the room and you meet someone else. So we're going to practice that now. So I'm going to go over to this man and say, hello, my name's Ian.
Hello, my name's Dave.
Brilliant. And is there something, Dave, that you would like to improve on?
I would like to improve on losing my temper in the car. I get very wound up, always in trouble with the wife for doing it, so I'd like to be able to keep myself under more control in the car.
Brilliant. Have you thought of going by bus?
Great idea.
There we go. Brilliant. Okay. And now me, I would like to be better at sleeping, actually. I'm not so good at sleeping.
Have you ever thought about recording back-to-back party political broadcasts and then just playing them to yourself of an evening?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dave.
Thank you. You're welcome.
We're now off to see some other people.
We are.
Right. Yeah. Has that confused anyone? Put your hand up if you're not sure what I'm being asked you to do. Okay? I can see no hands because there's bright lights, so it doesn't matter. Okay, that's what I'm asking you to do. Can you stand up now for me? Go on, you can do it. You've got muscles and legs and everything. Okay? And off you go. See how many you can talk to in 10, 12 minutes. Go. James just gave me the advice of listening to whale music. I didn't have any, so I thought I'd do my... That's enough. Have a sit down. Thank you very much for joining in. Thank you, James. Who knew I was going to do that? I appreciate it. Okay. Thank you, team. Have a seat. This is a conference, not supposed to be entertaining, it's supposed to be informative. Okay, so, whoops. Okay, here's the wash-up. Here's the wash-up. Right, Dave, I'm going to need your microphone.
Yep.
Put your hand up if you've got an answer to this question, which is, what did that feel like? Someone down this top table here, say if you're moving too far, I'm going to go to the next table afterwards.
You look like a likely candidate, Bill.
So how did that feel?
It was a lot more productive than I thought it would be, actually.
Absolutely. I should have said at the beginning, I promise this session will be slightly less crap than you think it's going to be. That's my benchmark. Thank you very much. So go to the next table if you would. I'm going to work our way back all down this line. So,
this one here.
yeah, anyone you like.
Yeah, go on then.
Yeah, definitely less crap than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very
Hit the
much.
benchmark. Hit the benchmark. Right, let's have a look over this table over here. Can you see have you seen the eye contact here? Trying to avoid eye contact with
Oh,
me.
they do that. But you're too
Go
clever
on,
for
then.
this, Dave.
How was that for you?
Well, my thing was public speaking, so this is terrible now.
But what was the advice? What was the advice you got about public speaking?
It made me realise that everyone's just human and everyone's got their own things that they're concerned about.
Exactly. They're all just people, aren't they?
That's true. Put your hand up if you're not human. No, we can agree with that. Well, whoever gave you that
right there.
advice.
Moving on.
Yeah, come on then.
Moving on. Hello, sir. You are Lawrence. Hello, Lawrence. How was that for you?
Really good. Everyone that I spoke to was really friendly and engaging and supportive. So.
And did you actually find some useful information from them?
Yes.
Good. Excellent. That was the right answer, Lawrence.
So Dave, do one more because I lost my slides there and I thought, I don't know what to do now. So do one more and then we'll
I'll do one more.
Yeah.
Right at the back of the room. Actually, these people sitting in the cheap seats right at the back who thought, we'll escape by being right at the back of the room. Hello.
Hello.
And what's your name?
I'm Yolandi.
Right. How was that for you?
Got to know my colleagues a little bit better. So
These
now-
are your colleagues that you work with?
There we go. So I can help them through the process now and through their journey.
Excellent. Well, you see, coming to a conference, where do you work?
Asset Alliance.
Right, down in Exeter, obviously. So you've come all the way up here, and now you know your colleagues a lot better. So that's worth the fees of coming in its own right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dave, for being a sequined assistant. A round of applause for Dave. Isn't he a sexy lump? We love him. Okay. Rhetorical question. Why have I dedicated a chunk of my slot to that exercise? It's a rhetorical question. So Dave, no mics now. Okay. And the answer is because we think that learning should be these things. And I'm going to try and sell you that what happened there maybe was a learning exercise. So I think possibly you learned something. Would you nod if you agree you learned something? The thing I often hear is, do you know what? Every piece of advice I gave, I could take myself. That's the thing I often hear. And so if we're doing leadership development, and it's not these things, it's not active and energetic, it's not shared, it's not memorable, and it's not replicable. So the concept of teach to learn, I think any of you could run that exercise back at your place quite easily. And amazingly, despite all of Dave and my misgivings, you went for it. And it was slightly less than we thought. And so, this is the title of the thing I've got half an hour to talk about, except for probably now, like 6-7 minutes. Okay. So, Women in Transport is a membership organisation, and we exist to advance women. And we have a programme. It's called LEAD, and there are people in this room who have been on this programme. But I might not name check them until the end. Maybe who would know? Right. Okay. And look, there's a slide about that, and people say nice things, and it's 100% virtual, and it runs 3 times a year. But this is a slide I nicked from Deloitte. Deloitte and lots of other ridiculously expensive consultancies spend some of their profit on doing reports into things. And this is from Deloitte Review issue 22, all about diversity and inclusion. And you've probably seen this. So This is supposed to be equal because everyone has the same opportunity, except for, of course, someone can't see over the top. Someone is perhaps Jenny, whose interview was moved from one town to another. So that's not very good, is it? This is equitable. So not everyone has the same opportunity. Some people have more enhanced opportunities to help them get over the barriers. But, you know, it'd be really nice if there were no barriers. But we're not there yet. And that's why Women in Transport exists. And that's why we run a women-only program. Now, advancing leaders. This is what we help people do. And maybe you get access to these slides, I don't know, or you find a way to email me at lead@womenintransport.com. It's also led@womenintransport.com. So, but anyway, and you can have these slides. This is what we think. We think it's really good if you're a leader to know what you stand for. And we think it's a great idea to know what your sense of direction is and how you serve. We think also it's good if you understand your strengths and are able to play to those. And you understand your brand, which sounds like a really silly thing to say, but what you offer, what you stand for. You know, we say a lot, every day is an interview. Everything you do is an interview. Every email, every meeting, you are giving an impression, that first impression, perhaps, that Karen talked about. And to reframe how things are seen by us. So if we see a situation is impossible, it probably is. And if we see it's actually something that we can work towards, then maybe it's actually true as well. And to build our confidence and our influence and work out what next. To grow a support network. Maybe you met someone new today. Maybe you would link in with them. Maybe that's a good idea. And then continually develop your leadership skills and your voice and your impact. That's what we think leadership development's about. And so, unsurprisingly, we've got a program that does that. The first 3 modules are all about the sense of direction and the brand. And then we're about confidence, we're about influence, we're about the leadership voice, and we're about then moving forward and practicing using that. And our program has 35 touch points. So it's about $4,000, but it's 5 one-to-one coaching sessions, a whole load of peer stuff. And this is the cycle. You get pre-work so we don't have to teach you anything. I think that's really important. Put concepts in front of people which give them an opportunity to consider and choose which ones they like. And then come to a workshop. 4 hours. God, it's tiring. 4 hours discussing this stuff together and taking it on board. And we have a guest speaker. And then a peer group. 4 people together discussing this stuff really deeply and taking personal accountability to do the things they've promised the rest of the group they will do. And finally, a bit of a wash up so that we've banked that material and we can move on. And here's some numbers. So far, we've had that many people. The retention rate for a year-long program is astounding. Over half of the people who joined the program have been promoted. And so if we're interested in that, maybe put people on development. You don't have to put them on this program. Put them on a program, though. 90% of people who join us stay with their sponsoring company. That is really important to us. Otherwise, the pitch is, here, Matt, can you give me some of your best women and I will help them leave? That's just not a great pitch, is it? And yeah, we got some sort of deal because we're here and that's what we do. There's 16 people in a cohort, so 16 people on a big Zoom screen together. There's 4 in a peer group, 35 touch points, 3 to 4 hours a week, every week for months. And it lasts that long. 8 months with everyone together and a couple of additional coaching sessions at the end. Because if you want to be better at tennis, if you want to lose weight, if you want to exercise more, if you want to do anything or be a better leader, join a community of leaders and have conversations. You know, tennis club, someone tell you to throw the ball higher or tighten your racket. It's brilliant. Learn together. That's astounding. Learn new skills if you want to be better at tennis or a better leader. Practice. Keep practicing your leadership skills, your vulnerability, your empathy, all of those kind of things that might not necessarily come naturally to you. And keep at it. We know All these self-help books, Paul McKenna, I can make you thin, rich, happy in 20 days. Bullshit. All from a book written in the 1960s where somebody said, I seem to observe if I adopt new behaviors for 3 weeks, they have some impact. And he probably spoke just like that. But not true. The slowest people, the slowest in this room, will take 254 days. The average is 66 days. There's a lot of effort. That's why our program, that's why good leadership programs are long. A one-day training program. You go to a one-day training program. What is the likelihood of you doing anything? Research tells us 5%. I bounce around all day like this for 5%. So, if you want to know more, we run Find Out More sessions. There happens to be one on the 21st of May. If you want to do something else, if you want to hone your skills at being talk about how good you are and your successes, which we all sort of hide. And the people who don't, we know who they are. They're on LinkedIn, aren't they? Banging on about how brilliant they are. So if you want to say, I am remarkable, it's a Google program around that. You can find this all on the Women in Transport website. My name is Ian Smith. Thank you for joining in.